Hey boos, in this video I give commentary based on my opinion. Nothing is to be taken as factual. We are just here to have conversation. We don't expose and we don't sip tea on this channel. I'm giving you real talk straight, no chaser. Let's see if you can handle it.
Cause I'm a boss. Oh, hell no.
Hi guys, it's Yoni and I'm back with another video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about this Azealia Banks rant that took place on Instagram, and I'm also going to be talking about Gayle King and her recent Lisa Leslie interview. Let's go ahead and get into today's video. So first up, I'm going to be talking about Azealia Banks. She went on a rant on Instagram, and it was a rant that was quite interesting. A lot of what she had to say I agreed with, and then I would say about 30 to 20% of it I did not. So I'm going to get into her rant and I'll be back for the remainder of my commentary. Azealia Banks took to Instagram and wrote, "Sorry, but everyone needs to give Nicki a break. Meek Mill absolutely kicked Nicki in her stomach, and I'm pissed at Jay-Z for always being the dirty ninja championing other dirty ninjas." She went on to say, "When I found out that Meek did that to her, I almost vomited. The fact that this hip-hop industry allows the dirtiest, most useless black men to thrive in the name of black power is truly effing disgusting. None of this ish is funny or cool, and all you a-holes out there egging her pain on can choke on a D." And she said, "Meek Mill absolutely needs to have his career ended. He is lying about not putting his hands on her." She elaborated more by saying, "Men in hip-hop can just be so effing dirty and evil sometimes. I cannot effing understand why some of them do some of the things they do, then delusionally try to convince themselves that they are good people. T.I. is still sitting up there trying to convince himself in the public that he didn't also threaten to cut my throat and push me down a flight of stairs, yet wants to sit up there and act like the effing black savior. Laugh my ass off. Y'all rap ninjas are actually garbage. The way y'all hide each other and support each other's violence is unacceptable, unbelievable. Jay-Z is always talking about that black power-ish, but I never see him stand up for black women. Ever." And lastly, she said, "I'm sending so much love and support to Nicki Minaj right now. People are always laughing at a black woman's pain and are treating that ish like it's entertainment, and our dusty A leaders of the culture are too busy hating themselves and comparing themselves to white men to care. I'm so sorry this is all happening. I truly, truly am at Nicki Minaj." When it comes to this conversation, one thing that I want to point out, I don't understand why, when speaking on the black community, we look to entertainers as leaders.
I told you a little while ago, these leaders that they call leaders, this included Lena Horne, this included Dick Gregory, and this included comedians, comics, trumpet players, baseball players. Show me in the white community where a comedian is a white leader. Show me in the white community where a singer is a white leader, or a dancer or a trumpet player is a white leader. These aren't leaders. These are puppets and clowns that have been set up over the white community and over the black community by the white community, and have been made celebrities and usually say exactly what they know that the white man wants to hear.
And it's quite sad to me because true leadership is when a person leads by example. And these entertainers simply don't do that. When it comes to Azealia Banks and her wanting black men like T.I., who has yet to really show respect towards his wife, he has disrespected her time and time again publicly. I don't see why we would seek them out for leadership. And then you have Meek Mill, you have Jay-Z, who cheated with some girl named Becky. I don't understand why we would look to them for leadership when they don't lead by example. When speaking on other rappers and just overall entertainers, they don't lead by example. And then it doesn't even make sense. Like, example, why would I look to Kevin Hart for leadership? For what? He's a comedian. He tells jokes for a living. What type of leadership could he give me? Please. I don't understand it. I think when speaking on the black community, if we started seeking out professional mentors, professional counselors, therapists for leadership, I think it would be a better community overall. But we don't do that. We look to entertainers for leadership, and entertainers are not leaders. Dr. Martin Luther King was not an entertainer. He was a leader. Malcolm X was not an entertainer. He was a leader. Also, the movie that just came out called Just Mercy, it starred Michael B. Jordan and Jamie Foxx. The movie was based off of a true story, and the attorney that the story was based on, he was a leader. Why? Because he led by example.
Johnny D's attorney, Brian Stevenson, has appealed the cases of more than 100 death row inmates.
I have never had a case where the state's only evidence of guilt comes from one person, where there's no motive, there's no physical evidence, there's no corroborating circumstances, there's nothing but the word of one person.
And this man wasn't rich. He wasn't rich. He didn't have a lot of money. He didn't have fame. He didn't have popularity, but he was a true leader within his community. And he really changed the narrative and changed things down in Alabama. That to me is a leader. But these entertainers, what are they leading? Nothing. They don't lead by example. They make their money and they keep it moving. When it comes to Azealia Banks and her rant, like I said, there were things that I agreed with, and then there were things that I just simply did not agree with. First off, I want to talk about how she said this hip-hop industry allows the dirtiest, most useless man to thrive in the name of Black power. But what you guys have to understand is that these Black men who are in entertainment are there for a reason. And it's all about control, and it's all about white supremacy remaining in control. They use these Black men as puppets to entertain us, to distract us. So it's not surprising. Honestly, I feel when it comes to Azealia Banks, she sounds like a fan, and she sounds like she wishes and she hopes that Black men in entertainment, like rappers, would somehow have her back. And I don't understand why. Like, these men are not leaders. I don't seek them out to defend me. For what? I don't need them to defend me. For what reason? They're not my man. They're not one of my brothers. They're not family. So why would I seek them to defend me? I don't understand. I don't get it. She's saying that Meek Mills allegedly abused Nicki Minaj. And I'm going to get into that in a sec. Then she spoke on T.I. and I'm just like, T.I. doesn't even respect his wife. So why would we want him to be some stand-up type of leader? Once again, leadership is all about leading by example. Moving on to Jay-Z, she talked a little about Jay-Z, but Jay-Z cheated on Beyonce with some girl named Becky. So another man that has power and money, but he's not a leader. He doesn't lead by example. When it comes to the white community doesn't force leadership on entertainers. Like, we don't see it. They don't automatically make their entertainers leaders. Unless it's like a charity event or they're giving back and it implements them in a way to where they have to take on a leadership role. Outside of that, they don't force leadership onto their entertainers. They are just simply entertainers. Also, when it comes to Nicki Minaj, I agree with her. You know, people are always laughing at a Black woman's pain and are treating that ish like it's entertainment. And I agree. And she also went on to say, our dusty blank leaders of the culture are too busy hating themselves and comparing themselves to white men to care. No, they're suckered into that whole life of money and power, and that's their whole focus. Helping the next man or making their community better isn't something that they care to do, because again, that takes leading by example, which they don't want to do. They don't want to be role models. They don't want to be leaders. So why are we trying to force that onto them? You don't see the white community doing that. When it comes to this topic of conversation, I just don't hold rappers and Black men in entertainment to this type of standard. And I think Azealia Banks is holding them to such a high standard. For what reason? Like, why? They're not leaders. Dr. Martin Luther King was a true leader. Malcolm X was a true leader. These entertainers are not leaders. So I just don't understand why y'all want them to be leaders so bad. Where are they leading you to? To a Gucci store? Where are they leading you to? To cheat on your wife? Where are they leading you to? To the strip club? I'm trying to figure it out. Says, why would you want them to lead you? I'm so confused. When I take mentorship and counseling and therapy and leadership very seriously, and to say or to imply that rappers should be leaders, that don't sit well with me. So next, let me move on to my next topic, and I want to talk about Gayle King. Now, Gayle King is foul. And she's foul for her Lisa Leslie interview. It was an ambushing interview. I've interviewed people, and I know what it means to ambush a person that you're interviewing. And that's what she tried to do to Lisa Leslie. And she tried to tarnish Kobe Bryant's legacy. Now, in no way, shape, or form am I defending Kobe and his alleged cheating scandal. And neither did Lisa Leslie. She spoke on her experience, and she wanted to focus on the positive. She didn't want to tarnish his name or his legacy, and she spoke from her experience. She never said, oh, Kobe would never do that. She never said Kobe didn't rape that girl.
Because of sexual assault charge, which was dismissed in 2003, 2004. Is it complicated for you as a woman, as a WNBA player?
It's not complicated for me at all. Even if there's a few times that we've been at a club at the same time, Kobe's not the kind of guy, never been like, you know, Lisa, go get that girl or tell her or send her this. I have other NBA friends that are like that. Mm-hmm. He was never like that. I just never have ever seen him being the kind of person that would do something to violate a woman or be aggressive in that way. That's just not the person that I know.
But Lisa, you wouldn't see it though. As his friend, you wouldn't see it.
And that's possible. Mm-hmm. I just don't believe that. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying things didn't happen. Mm-hmm. I just don't believe that things didn't happen with force.
Is it even a fair question to talk about it, considering he's no longer with us and that it was resolved? Or is it really part of his history?
I think that the media should be more respectful. At this time, it's like if you had questions about it, you've had many years to ask him that. I don't think it's something that we should keep hanging over his legacy. I mean, it went to trial.
Yeah, with the case, it was dismissed because the victim in the case refused to testify, so it was dismissed.
And I think that's how we should leave it.
The whole investigation was thrown out because they couldn't rely on the evidence that was submitted.
I just think if we're going to bring up that story about Kobe, tell the whole story. You know what I'm saying? You got to speak on how the accuser, didn't want to go through with the trial, and she probably didn't want to go through the trial because she didn't want evidence coming out against her, like the fact they found semen in a hair follicle in the woman's panties that didn't belong to Kobe, or that the young lady's mental state was in question, that she had been hospitalized 4 months before the assault, that she was taking an antipsychotic drug for schizophrenia at the time of the incident. You got to tell the whole story if you're going to tell it.
And so because she didn't testify, the whole case was thrown out. So who's to even say that this man allegedly raped this girl? Like, who's to say that he actually did it? So to speak on this man after his death in a way to where he can't even defend himself, it was foul. And the thing that's killing me about Gayle is the fact that she doesn't understand exactly where she went wrong within her interview.
I'm not going to say who's to blame, but I do think that we're trying to make a very uncomfortable conversation complicated. And I think we're doing that because clearly there is a lot of emotion and a lot of hurt involved. In order to really have a conversation about why this has been such a big story, if we have to talk about what was happening in 2003 when Kobe was first accused of rape. There were two different Americas. We had white households whose parents were telling their white daughters to beware of Kobe's in the wake of O.J. Simpson. We had black households who were telling their kids about the story of Emmett Till, the 14-year-old black boy who was killed in Mississippi for allegedly whistling at a white woman in 1955, and we later learned that that wasn't the truth. So when we have these two very different conversations happening, we see this Kobe Bryant situation very differently. We have some people who see a black man who got away with raping a white woman. Some of us see a black man who was accused of raping a white woman and did something that was historically daunting.
Gayle came out with an apology, and she was saying that we took a clip, or the internet took a clip, or her network put out a clip, and it made her look bad. She said that we spoke about so much good that Kobe did, but that was what they decided to run with, and it was edited. But I watched the interview, and the interview was short, it was sweet. However, at the end of the day, Gayle, you still asked that question and you kept egging her on after she would give a good response, a solid response, but it wasn't the response that you were looking for. You kept egging her on to eventually get some type of negative reaction out of her, or to somehow implement her in a way to where you are tarnishing Kobe's legacy. And that was just foul on so many levels. And sis, how is it that you don't understand what you said that was so wrong or so terrible? Like, the timing was insensitive, and then also your body language, your tone and everything like that was just off-putting, and it almost came across like you were looking for something negative to get out of her regarding Kobe Bryant, and it was just foul. Lisa Leslie, she handled herself so well during this interview because she was definitely ambushed. I guarantee you she would not have conducted that interview knowing that that was one of the questions that she was going to ask. When it comes to Gayle, when it comes to Tyler Perry, when it comes to Oprah, they're all corrupt to me. They're okay with pushing the agenda that white supremacy is trying to push on us through their interviews, through their movies, through their shows, in a way to distract us. Like when Oprah did the whole documentary on Michael Jackson, knowing that the, once again, accusers have been caught lying, but then you go and you conduct a documentary regarding Michael Jackson and the molestation allegations. You go ahead and you do a documentary knowing that this man is not here to defend himself. So it's like, what are you trying to get out of it? You're trying to tarnish his legacy. And that's what I just don't like, because I wouldn't want that done to me. This has nothing to do with me defending black men, but it's just like, I wouldn't want that done to me. I'm a big believer on there's a difference between right and wrong. This was just wrong on so many levels. Snoop Dogg and all these black men that are coming out and calling Gayle all type of names and degrading her, and these memes that are making fun of her. It's so easy for them to bash black women whenever this happens. They didn't even give this woman a chance to apologize. They just started dragging her immediately, publicly.
Gayle King, out of pocket for that shit. Way out of pocket. What do you gain from that? I swear to God, we the worst. We the fucking worst. We expect more from you, Gayle. Don't you hang out with Oprah? Why y'all attacking us? We your people. You ain't coming after fucking Harvey Weinstein asking them dumb-ass questions. I get sick of y'all. I want to call you one. Is it okay if I call her one? Funky dog head bitch. How dare you try to tarnish my motherfucking homeboy's reputation, punk motherfucker. Respect the family and back off, bitch, before we come get you.
Gayle King, why the fuck would you ask some shit like that? I don't give a fuck who friend it is. I don't give a fuck she can Obama or Oprah. Why the fuck would you do something like that? Why would you do that to your people? You know what people going through, right? Why would you ask a fucking question like that, trying to tarnish somebody's image? You do that to your own black people. You sad. I'm finna fire your ass up. You sad, bro. People be talking, black people need to stop fucking trying to hurt black people for success. It's all the reason you ask that fucking shit for, to get your fucking numbers up. Give a fuck who you can too.
And it's like, why do y'all have so much time on y'all's hands to bash us? It just seems like y'all never have our back when it comes to defending us. This is why when it comes to defending black men, if I don't know you on a personal level, I'm not defending you. It's not my job. It's just not my job. Especially in entertainment, I don't know you on a personal level to defend you. I don't know what you do behind closed doors. I don't know what you do when you go home. I don't know what you do. So I will never defend you publicly, especially when it comes to these entertainers, aka so-called leaders. Yeah, Never. And I really didn't like Snoop Dogg's response. I'm just like, y'all making the black community look like a goddamn circus, and I'm just not here for it whatsoever. I would love your thoughts and opinions, so make sure you comment them down below, and also hit that notification bell so that you are notified for when I upload. And if you're new, subscribe, and I'll catch you in my next one.